Reverend Umezu
Good evening.
and Bishop Matsumoto, and to all the others signed in tonight on YouTube and via Zoom. So welcome everyone to day number 4 of the Buddhist Study Center summer session for 2021. So we're very happy to welcome back, for those of you, if this is your first evening, Reverend Kodo Umezu, who is the recently retired bishop of the Buddhist Churches of America. Reverend Umezu spent 47 years of dedicated ministry and service to the BCA and retired on March 31st, 2020. Prior to assuming the position of bishop and superintendent of the Hongwanji North America District in 2012, Reverend Umezu was a resident minister at the Fresno Betsuin Temple, Los Angeles Honpa Hongwanji Buddhist Temple, and the Buddhist Church of Oakland. Reverend Umezu has also served as a director of the BCA Center for Buddhist Education and chancellor of the Institute of Buddhist Studies. So thank you all for signing in. Reverend Umezu, in your 47 years or 46 years, I never met you until last year, I believe, February of last year. So now I met you 4 times in the last week. So happy to see you. So this evening, we'll continue the theme that Reverend Umezu has set as world peace. And this evening is peace through the Buddha Dharma. And this evening's theme is world peace. So thank you, Reverend Umezu. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much once again for allowing me to be here to share the words of Shakyamuni Buddha Shinran Shonin with all of you. In order for us to do that, first thing we need to do is pay our respect to the Buddha by conducting a short service. We like to have a chanting together, chanting of Jusei-ge with all of you. If you feel comfortable chanting at home, please join me. Of course, we cannot hear each other's voices, but I like to everyone join me in chanting Jusei-ge. Thank you. Namandam, Tsunamandam, 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 Tsunamandam. Gagon chosegan ishimujodo shigan humanzo sefu josho gaku ga omuryoko Idai seshu musai shobingu sefu josho gaku ga shijo butsudo myosho chojippo kukyo mishomon Sefu josho gaku ryokujin shonen Joe shubongyo shigumu jodo isho tennishi jinriken daiko 所無才道少女三苦病交際集約難回避知恵言弟子根もあへ即小悪道通達全宗門高僧上満蔵いよろじぽ日月修十期天候音部言一周解放像公正独法上大修十説法ししくよ一切物具足習得本願念出上満得意三害応尿物無下地通達未不詳願学営利投資最小層志願略化大聖の感動国書天人統一名家ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブがんにしくどく平等性際同発菩大心往生安楽ナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダー Dr. Tamamoto, could you read the three treasures, please?
Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb in ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in a life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida
Namo
Butsu.
Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you very much for joining me in chanting of Jusege. We often chant Jusege, and very seldom that we read the translation. So at this time, I'd like to ask someone to read the translation for people.
You, by someone, do you mean me?
Yes,
Yes, okay.
the name is someone.
I have established the all-surpassing vows and will unfailingly attain supreme enlightenment. If these vows should not be fulfilled, may I not attain perfect enlightenment. If for countless kalpas to come, I should not become a great benefactor and save all the destitute and afflicted everywhere, may I not attain perfect enlightenment. When I have fulfilled the Buddha way, my name shall pervade the 10 quarters. Should there be any place it is not heard, may I not attain perfect enlightenment.
Next page.
Freed from greed and with deep right-mindedness and pure wisdom, I will perform the sacred practices in pursuit of supreme enlightenment and become the teacher of devas and humans. Emitting a great light with my majestic power, I will completely illuminate the boundless worlds, dispelling thereby the darkness of the three defilements. I will deliver all beings from suffering and affliction. Having acquired the eye of wisdom, I will remove the darkness of blind passions. Blocking the path to the evil realms, I will open the gate to the good realms. When my practice and merits are fulfilled, my majestic brilliance shall reach everywhere in the 10 quarters, outshining both the sun and the moon. Even the heavenly lights shall be hidden and obscured.
Next page.
For the sake of all beings, I will open forth the Dharma store and universally bestow its treasure of virtue upon them. Among the multitudes of beings, I will always preach the Dharma with a lion's roar. Making offerings to all the Buddhas, I will acquire all the roots of virtue. With my vows fulfilled and wisdom perfected, I will be the hero of the three worlds. Like your unimpeded wisdom, O Buddha Lokesvaraja, my wisdom shall reach everywhere and illuminate all. May the power of my virtue and wisdom be equal to that of yours, most honored one. If these vows are to be fulfilled, the great 1,000 worlds will shake in accord, and from the sky all the devas will rain down rare and wondrous flowers.
Thank you very much for. This is called Jusege. When we chant Jusege at temple, we chant, but without knowing background information. Now, some of you, you have little more information about Dhammakara Bodhisattva establishing the vow in front of his teacher. So he is committing himself to be like his teacher, to find the path, find the way to liberate everyone from the world of darkness. So this is stated after, in the Raja Sutra, 48 vows were mentioned. 48 vows. After 48 vows are mentioned, Jusege is, how should I say, listed and, repeating, actually, reaffirming his vows. He is reaffirming his determination to do whatever needs to be done. So the 48 vows, yesterday, Shinran Shonin's understanding of 48 vows, especially he picked 5 out of 48 vows. Would you please open the next page? This is the one yesterday we touched base on. But number 18, could you please read number 18?
If, when I attain Buddhahood, the sentient beings of the 10 quarters who, with sincere and entrusting heart, one technical,
We are in the darkness.
yes, technical, I do have it. If, when I attain Buddhahood, the sentient beings of the 10 quarters who, with sincere and entrusting heart, aspire to be born in my land and say my name even 10 times, should not be born there, may I not attain the perfect enlightenment. Excluded are those who commit the 5 grave offenses and those who slander the right Dharma.
This is the statement, this is the vow, and the vow needs to be realized. If vow stays as a vow, just remaining as vow, nothing is there. But he made a vow to bring all people to the realm called the Pure Land. And for the sake of all sentient beings, he created the Pure Land, and he found a way for people to get to the Pure Land. So next page, please. Okay, this one, Shakyamuni Buddha sharing with Ananda, one of his disciples, that vow has been fulfilled. So this is a statement made by Shakyamuni Buddha. Could you read it?
The Buddha said to Ananda, the sentient beings born in that land all dwell among the truly settled. For in that Buddha land, there is not even one who is falsely settled or not settled. The Buddha Tathagatas throughout the 10 quarters, countless as the sands of the Ganges, are one in praising the majestic power and the virtues, inconceivably profound, of the Buddha of immeasurable life. When sentient being, upon hearing the Buddha's name, realizing an entrusting heart in joy, with even a single thought of the Buddha, direct their merits with sincere mind, and aspire to be born in that land, they then all attain birth in that land and dwell in the stage of non-retrogression. Excluded are those who commit the 5 grave offenses and those who slander the right Dharma.
This is the essence of Jodo Shinshu teaching, the 18th vow, which has been fulfilled. So now there is a mentioning here, upon hearing the Buddha's name, and that is mentioned in Jusege 2. In the Jusege, the 3rd verse. If you could look at the 3rd verse, let me see. My name shall pervade the 10 quarters. Should there be any place it's not heard, may I not attain perfect enlightenment. So the name itself is the sound calling the calling of the Tata, calling of Tata, calling of the true and the real realm, which is always embracing all beings, but we have no way of being, no way of knowing that. We are so confined in our own small world, which we are constantly creating with our own actions, right? So the name is the sound. The name is very important in Jodo Shinshu. Name means Namo Amida Butsu. So name is in Chinese, myogo. But there's a limitation in this process of translating myogo into English. So all they do is name, but myogo doesn't mean just a name. Myo is a name. Myogo is one word. Go is shouting, loud voice, roar. This character itself is tigers roar, tigers. But in the Jusege, it says lions roar, lions roar. But both, I think, cats. So okay, Chinese, I think they use this character in the same meaning, some kind of king of animal roar, the strong, powerful voice, getting attention. So it's not just a name. Okay, my name is Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu is the name. Namo Amida Butsu. But that's in Sanskrit. So Shinran Shonin, he said, people don't know if just saying Namo Amida Butsu is just a mantra, has no meaning. So he had to translate Namo Amida Butsu into Chinese, Japanese. Okay. That Namo Amida Butsu is explained in the next page. Next page. Next page, please. Could you please read it?
The word here in the passage from the larger sutra means that sentient beings, having heard how the Buddha's vow arose, its origin and fulfillment, are altogether free of doubt. This is to hear. Shinjin is shin in that is directed to beings through the power of the primal vow. Joy expresses gladness in body and mind. Even includes both many and few. One thought moment, because Shinjin is free of double-mindedness. One thought moment is used. It is the mind that is single. The mind that is single is the true cause of birth in the pure, fulfilled land.
Here it says free of doubt. And that, yesterday, I think someone asked a question about doubt. Ultimately, Jodo Shinshu, we like to have this no doubt between us and Buddha's mind and heart. Really, the Buddha's mind and heart coming into our life and causing us to say, Namo Amida Butsu. There is no doubt. But in the process, we could ask questions. What is this? But Shinjin is a state of no doubt. But we put the cover on, if you want to pour something into a container or a glass or cup, if you have a cover on it, nothing comes in. Removing the cover, that which is called a doubt, Buddha's heart flows into our life. So we have, as I said many times, we have been in this way for zillions and zillions and zillions of years. It is difficult, extremely difficult, even to think about this, something coming from outside of us. This is not the completely outside. This outside that we describe is always with us. It's not outside of us, but always we are within. But that outside realm is, with shedding tears of our condition, over our condition, with a deep sorrow, this outside realm is inviting or beckoning us, summoning us to come home, to find a real home. That is contained in Namo Amida Buddha. Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha is the name. Okay, my name is Umezu. Everyone has name. Matsumo Sensei has name. Matsu is pine tree. A pine tree is very important in Jodo Shinshu. So Matsumo Sensei and the name may be one. Okay, Matsu is a pine. But this kanji Matsu is they write this way: 10 and 8, 18. Okay, this is the Lord of 18 star. Okay. And this is an evergreen. Even other trees, lose their leaves. Matsu stays, green. And the motto is Hongan. So Matsumo Sensei, the name and his personality are one. That's good. But in my case, Umezu. Ume is a plum. Plum is sour. Maybe it's same. Huh? I am sour guy. Su is waterfront or shoreline. So I'm not the pine tree. I'm not the shoreline. But the name and the me are completely not matching, right? But Namo Amida Butsu, Amida Buddha. Amida Buddha's case, Amida is, as I explained, infinite wisdom and compassion. So his name is what he is. His name is the function. His name itself is expressing its function. The name is enlightenment. Enlightenment is taking the form of the name. Working of the Buddha is this Namo Amida Butsu. So Buddha, this is Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu is Buddha. That's why we have Namo Amida Butsu in the Onaijin sometimes. Namo Amida Butsu. When I went to, Matsumo Sensei too, went to a European Buddhist Jodo Shinshu conference in UK, we had a service and they didn't have a Obutsudan, so they brought scroll, Namo Amida Butsu scroll, and they put it on the wall and we had a service. After the service was over, after the service was over, two minister's assistant came up to Namo Amida Butsu scroll. You know what they did? They put the white gloves, okay? White gloves, bowed to the scroll and politely, took it down and with the highest respect, roll it up and put it in a container. Namo Amida Butsu itself is Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu is Buddha. For example, I was thinking that yesterday I mentioned Michio Kaku. Somehow my cell phone listening to my presentation, when I opened up YouTube, Michio Kaku, everything Michio Kaku. I don't know, listening. My cell phone listens to me more than anybody else. So I have to be very careful. One day my wife said something about the raccoon. Shortly after that, YouTube, raccoon thing coming up. I don't know the technology today, but this communication is, difficult today. And but we have this PowerPoint and this and that convenient means. But 60, 70 years ago, we didn't have a copy machine. My grandfather, who passed away 2 months after I was born, he left copy of Raja Sutra. He hand copied. Hand copied. That is amazing, that is really amazing. So I have Raja Sutra, volume 1, volume 2, and the Contemplation Sutra. So 3 3 books. And I have 3 children, so I decided to give 1 to each. And I gave my eldest one the first volume of Raja Sutra. I'm still keeping the other 2. Someday I'm going to give these to my other 2 children. But when I see this, I see my grandfather. This is my grandfather. So I am meeting my grandfather. Namo Amida Butsu, you think it's just Namo Amida Butsu sound. No. Within Namo Amida Butsu, the warm, kind heart, the highest respect to all beings, deep sorrow over our existence. Namo Amida Butsu is Buddha. My oldest daughter, she is now helping BCA Temple as an assistant minister. When she graduated from college, she didn't have a job. And that same year, Christmas, we celebrate Christmas. She gave a gift to my wife, her mother. It was nicely packed and wrapped. On the Christmas Eve, my wife opened the package, the box, and she found red scarf. She was looking at it, and she started showing emotion, tears, almost tears. What she saw was scarf knitted by my daughter. She had no money. She had no money. She spent, I didn't even know she could knit. But she spent days and days, knitting that nice. It's not like a store-bought scarf, but it really brought tears to my wife. She sensed my daughter's love, my daughter's appreciation in that gift. That gift conveyed my daughter. That gift itself is it's not just a thing. The gift itself is the heart of the person who made it for her. This Namo Amida Butsu, same thing. This Namo Amida Butsu, out of 5 kalpas of contemplation, finally came up with this name that calls, Namo Amida Butsu. So that is the heart of Amida Buddha's, compassion and wisdom. So Namo Amida Butsu means infinite wisdom, infinite compassion. Name and meaning matching. It's not like Umezu, it's not like a Tamamoto-san, name but this Namo Amida Butsu is indeed Buddha. That's why teaching of Namo Amida Butsu, before Shinran Shonin, Honen Shonin's time, Buddhism was for elite, only certain people who can leave their home behind and go into mountain and, dedicate their life for Buddha Dharma. But Shinran Shonin and Honen Shonin brought mountain Buddhism to grassroots people. Buddha came down. Buddha is always with us, Namo Amida Butsu. No matter where you go, how you are, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. People were so grateful, being recognized, being loved and cared by the big heart and the mind. Those people, they were living their lives treated like a trash, treated like a dirt, but they are the ones. Thank you, Buddha. They found true companion in their life. The difficulties that their life that goes through, they go through all the difficulties, but they were able to live through their lives with Namo Amida Butsu. And I know many people came from Japan to Hawaii or mainland. They have received something from the parents. Please take this ojuzu. Please take this Namo Amida Butsu. Whenever you miss us, just say Namo Amida Butsu. We are within this Namo Amida Butsu. It is the best gift that they could receive. It's not like today you could call, right? 100-some years ago, people came and sayonara. They may not see each other, but they brought Namo Amida Butsu or ojuzu or something that reminds them of their parents. As long as they are with someone who cares, they are able to live through their lives. Right? But this Namo Amida Butsu is for all sentient beings. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. So I don't know what I'm saying now, but yeah, we are just visiting what we talked about yesterday. And Would you please go to the next page? Okay. I know we covered this yesterday, but we'd like to remind once again. Would you read, please?
From these passages, we see that the word namo means to take refuge. In the term to take refuge, kimyo, ki means to arrive at. Further, it is used in compounds to mean to yield joyfully, to kietsu, and to take shelter in, kisai. Myo means to act, to invite, to command, to teach, path, message, to devise, to summon. Thus, kimyo is a command of the primal vow, calling to and summoning us.
Shinran Shonin used another section. He used the term chokumei. It's the in Japan, chokumei means imperial order that no one can say no, and we cannot say no. That kind of a command. Chokumei, midano chokumei, the order coming from the real home, the parents. So please go to next page.
Saved by the inconceivable working of Amida's vow, I shall realize birth in the Pure Land. The moment you entrust yourself thus to the vow, so that the mind set upon saying the Nembutsu arises within you, you are immediately brought to share in the benefit of being grasped by Amida, never to be abandoned.
So this is this appears in Tanisho, a book called Tanisho, recording lament of divergences. Very first chapter, this appears. So at the moment, you entrust yourself to the vow, that's the time you want to say Nembutsu Namu Amida Butsu. That's natural call and the response. It's a natural act when we hear, when we feel the deep joy in encountering the heart of Amida Buddha. It's not like I like to say, it's just deep urge to say Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. That moment, that person, new life begins. That's the time you become truly independent. Truly independent. July, month of July, we celebrate Independence Day. But for Jodo Shinshu, for us to become truly independent, we need to listen to Shinran Shonin's words of encouragement. Okay, the next page.
The reason why the Buddha wished to have this virtue of purity when he established his vow while at the stage of Bodhisattva Dharmakara is that he observed that the three worlds are characterized as falsity, transmigration, and endless repetition in samsara. This condition is like an inchworm moving in circles, or a silkworm wrapping itself in a cocoon. How pitiful it is that they are bound to the three worlds in their inversion and impurity. This is why the Bodhisattva wished to convey sentient beings to a land beyond falsity, transmigration, and endless repetition in samsara. That is, to a great pure land of ultimate peace and happiness.
Thank you. This passage came from we call it Ronchu, written by Donran Daiji, Donran Tanwan. How do you write? And Don in Chinese this is the way in Chinese. This character, Shinran Shonin, came from here. So this is in Chinese pronounced this Luan. So Shin this kanji came from another master of tradition, Jodoshin, I mean, Pure Land tradition. I'm not going to go into that, but this character came from Gautama. Gautama in China, Gautama was called Gudong. This is Gautama. Gautama Siddhartha. By the way, do you know the meaning of Gautama? Oh, I no response because I can.
No.
No. I always I like to share this on Haramatsuri, Gautama Siddhartha. Gautama means you'll be surprised because so many people in this country use this word Gautama. It means holy cow. Holy cow. In India, they respect cow. So holy cow. Don't you say that? You don't say, huh? But some sometimes people say holy cow. That's Gautama. But in China, in China, they use these two kanjis, Chinese writings. So took one kanji from Buddha and mystical bird. Luan is a most beautiful bird, but it's not a real. But according to what's his name, Inagi Sensei, Kangaku Inagi Sensei. I did the research, but I couldn't find story. But according to Inagi Sensei, this bird is the most beautiful bird, but her kids, I mean chicks, ugliest appearance was ugliest. Beautiful mother, ugliest. So this bird, what this bird does is she put dirt on her body so that they recognize her as their mother. This bird, in order for this bird to be recognized by her kids, I mean chicks, purposely, makes her body, ugly, that kind of bird. So this is just like a tata itself coming to human realm, taking a form that could be recognized by us. Do you get it? We don't recognize it, but the other side has to be, the other side has to do something coming down into our three-dimensional world, human world of defilement, taking the form of Namo Amida Butsu and being recognized. So this bird, this Tanlan's name itself, preaching something, to me. And I heard a true story not long ago, about a year ago, 2 years ago. One of the members, that person didn't know anything about this. That person just talking about his family, and he said, he knew I'm from San Francisco Bay Area. So he said, his daughter is a doctor, MD, and she helps homeless people. And how nice, Then he said, in order for her to go to homeless people, she has to dress almost like, not exactly homeless, but dress like, not like something, that unreachable, so they could have face-to-face talk. I thought, wow, that happens in the real life, in order for this doctor to work in the community, she has to be careful, she has to be like one of them, right? So this is Donran. He is an interesting person. He was a scholar of like a sunyata, sunyata, the emptiness and all these things, Madhyamika school. So he said he has to live long time in order to study the teaching of Nagarjuna. Okay, so in order for him to master all the teachings of Nagarjuna, he decided to study how to live long to acquire longevity. So instead of studying Buddhism first, in order to study Buddhism, he was into special teaching that helps him to live a long time. But this person encountered Bodhi Ruchi, who happened to have Pure Land scriptures. He handed Pure Land scriptures. He said, wow, this is it. I don't need to study. I mean, he didn't say he didn't have to study, but instead of studying how to live 1,000 years, this is the real teaching that I could live infinite life. This is the one I need to study. So he became a master of Pure Land school. So this person is, he wrote this book, commentary on another Pure Land teacher called Tenjin, or Tenjin, Vasbandhu, Indian master. He wrote commentary of the Raja Sutra. So Tuanlan wrote commentary on commentary. So the one that I quoted is the commentary on his writing. So could you open the page again?
Sorry, one moment.
Okay, sorry. This the first one. Yeah. First one. I mean, one before. The one with the picture. Yeah. You see drawings. One is inchworm. Have you seen inchworm? Small insect. The bottom one is kaiko. Kaiko is silkworm. Inside the cocoon, there is a small worm. but this kaiko, this is the one that we get the silk from. That village that I grew up, born and raised, so many farmers. Beside having the rice field, they were also raising silkworms. I mean, kaiko, this worm for silk. So our life is just like that. Inchworm, you put the inchworm on the rim of cup, it goes around and around and around. Our human activity, samsara, is same way, going around the same circle. And he also said, we are like the kaiko, what do you call, silkworm. We wrap ourselves up with our own karmic, experiences, and we separate ourselves from outside world, and at the end up dying, not knowing anything. I mean, if it's caught by human and they die. So that's just like my grandcat sticking her neck into a bag and falling down. You remember that? I want to show you another picture. I don't know if you could see.
I love you, Ji-chan. I love you, Ji-chan. I love you.
Isn't she cute? Anyway, it's almost 9 o'clock. Maybe we should stop here and take a break.
Yes, thank you. So why don't we take a 5-minute break?
Mhm.
We'll come back, or we'll say, we'll come back at our Hawaii time, 6:03, 6:05. Hawaii time, 6:05. Please come back. So sensei, 9:05. Okay?
Okay, then we go
Thank you.
to the next page and we continue. Okay,
Okay. All right.
thank you.
Hi, Sensei.
Hi.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. So Reverend Umezu,
Next page.
yeah, Reverend Umezu,
Yes.
can I just want to read to you one comment.
Mhm.
Yeah, one comment that received, it says, "Thank you for focusing on the joy of responding to the Nembutsu.
Mhm.
Seldom do we hear about joy." So just a comment for you. And I think they have two questions. Just, I think one is short question. It says, do the 18th and 22nd vow mean that we sentient beings are saved through Amida's merit, and we must then go and save others from the burning world? And to continue, how do we deal with this burning world? Stay away or ignore bullies or find ways to promote civil dialogue and reconciliation?
Okay. We'll be visiting not the exact issue, same issue, but related about the human, issues with this series of Tonlan's writing. So let's go to the next.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not ignoring. Okay.
Okay, I don't worry, I have it, I still have it written down.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of distorted views, sentient beings produce the mind thinking in discriminative categories. This consists of such categories as arising or non-arising, negation or affirmation, beautiful or ugly, good or bad, and this or that. Through discriminative thinking, such people will always be drifting through the three worlds of existence, where they suffer from such discrimination and undergo various kinds of pain. It is as if they were slumbering through the long night of ignorance with no chance of leaving it behind. When such sentient beings encounter Amida Tathagata's light of equality and hear of the activity of the Tathagata's mind of equality, all of them are liberated from the above stated various kinds of karmic mind. Then they enter the home of the Tathagata and ultimately attain the activity of mind that is virtually equal to the Tathagata.
Mhm. This passage, this section of Ronchu is very, very, very important, especially today. Because of the way we live, because of the way we are creating difficulties for others and for ourselves. We need to listen carefully what has been said about our conditions. This we or I, living means making, or living means acting. And action is, caused by our mind. Our mind determines whether I should pick this up or throw this away. Every single act of human beings or myself is due to my karmic conditions. Okay. So not to say, justifying any wrongdoing, but we can see others doing something wrong. But it is very, very, very difficult to see oneself. Very difficult to see oneself. And usually, my case, I'm on the good side camp, good side. I'm good one. I belong to the good side, and others sometimes my side or the other side. No matter what we do, we divide saying yes or no, right or wrong, front or back, beginning and end. That is because our system here is binary system. We cannot get out of that. No matter how much you like to get out, we are constantly making the decision. Comfortable, not comfortable. Should I stay here? Should I leave? Without thinking, your body is making all kinds of decisions and making you act accordingly. So even the way you see the world, as I mentioned earlier many times, different from each other. My view is different from Dr. Tamamoto's view. If somebody died, if my wife dying, wow, what do I do? But if someone in a remote area dying, it doesn't really affect, my life here today. So this is this, right? I shouldn't say my wife dying, but something is happening to someone within my realm, I react. But something else happening someplace else, and that is, throughout the world, each individual, all, same situation. We are in the same situation. That's why, it is difficult meaning we need to understand what is going on here. What is really causing? So Buddha said the roots of our problem, that needs to be identified, and that needs to be addressed, and that needs to be cured or removed. The root, right? I forgot which master, but one of the 7 masters said the difference between a dog and a lion, you throw a little stick, then dog goes after the stick. Or you throw a ball, the dog goes after the ball, right? You do many times, dog is, joyfully, I don't know joyfully, but goes after whatever the object that you throw. But the lion doesn't go after the ball. Lion knows you are the cause of annoyance, attacks you. Lion attacks you, because he is being bothered by you, but he doesn't go after the ball. We are here usually going after all these issues and problems, endless. But what is the real cause? So that's why the vow has been established. Vow for all sentient beings, namely me, this I, who is living in this yes or no realm and having difficulty. Yes and no. Anyway, the way we see this itself takes 2-3 hours to explain, I think, this human condition. But we have this feeling of, me. I talked about that, me, but me is not me that I think of me. And I extend me, and this is my wife, this is my kids, my job, my community, my nation, my. And Shakyamuni Buddha said, the more we receive education, the world gets worse. World gets worse. Why? One of the disciples said, why? He said, it's because we tend to use the knowledge to make things convenient. Technology, right? Today is this computer and iPhone, Zoom, microwave oven, airplanes. We are so used to getting our way. I want this now. We like to put everything under our control. I want to put my family under my control. I want them to live happy life till I live 100 years, 100, I don't know, but that kind of a thing. So what we have is now we have created the world convenient for everyone. That doesn't mean we are happier than 100 years ago, 200 years ago. We are being chased by something now. Busy. We have to make a payment for this iPhone. We have to do this in order to pay for this. And when things don't go the way we want, we get angry. We created a remote control, invisible remote control in our mind. And I'm always pushing my wife, do this, my friend, do this. When I play golf, the ball should go this way. When things don't go the way I expect, frustrated. Okay, how can I make things go the way we want? We want to live till 100. Okay, let's make a medicine. We don't want to die. But we are losing the sense of being in this world of suchness. We are losing the sense. We completely separate ourselves from the true reality and make the world worse. And each individual or group, possession, we want to protect it. The nation wants to do something. And people with the power, they're bullying other groups. All these things are coming from our delusive, mind. And we don't even know I am the cause. Okay, I asked everyone at the very beginning of session on Monday, how many of you love peace? How many of you don't like war? Love war. Nobody liked the war. Everyone liked peace, right? Everyone, without exception, they like peace. They don't like war. This war is being not created, but the cause of the war is this mind of like and don't like. It's coming from this. It's coming from here. As a nation, a nation is an individual. Group is individual. Organization is like an individual. This like and don't like, that is the real cause of all this disturbance. But we do not visit that area. We don't shed the light into deep inside of our existence. Just going after the ball, never ending. never ending. It's like a good and bad trying to remove bad. You cannot separate when there's a good, there's a bad. Okay, there's a front, there's a back, the sheet of paper. You cannot separate front from the back. As soon as you separate, there's another back. There's always front and back. That's the way we think. We create concept of front and back and liking one side, not liking the other. That's what this passage is saying. Ourselves, we create this distorted views, sentient beings produce the mind thinking in discriminative categories. Okay? So, if there's a beginning, there's end. Beginning and end. So beginning doesn't really exist. It's just a concept. End doesn't exist. It's just a concept. But we have to have this, in order for me to live, we have to live with this rational thinking. That's the limitation of human existence. So we collectively or individually need to sit down and listen to the crying voice coming from the world of enlightenment. I'm going to introduce Honen Shonin's writing later, but Honen Shonin, Honen Shonin's father was like a governor in the area, or mayor or something, and or tax collector or something. So his father was assassinated. And before his father died, he told his son to be Honen Shonin later, do not go after them. If you go after them, this will repeat continuously and never end. I want you to enter into the priesthood and find a way to bring peace to the world. That's Honen Shonin. He was told by his father. We need to listen to the Dharma, which allows us to stay calmer than before listening to the Dharma. Okay? That doesn't mean everything is going to be ceased. No more war or anything, no more bullying or anything. Okay? But each individual, if each individual takes this step, one step to this, direction of listening, the sound, the call coming from this discriminative realm, to make us realize our foolishness. Some years ago, I was invited to Reverend Kodani's retirement. I was bishop. And after retirement service, he gave a gift to people who came. It was a wrist ojuzu, small ojuzu. And, ojuzu has a big bead. And inside there's a picture. And I looked at the picture. It was very interesting saying inside. It says, bona fide bakatare. Bona fide bakatare. And bakatare is Japanese word, so some of you may not know the meaning. Baka is full, Tare is oozing out. Our foolishness is just oozing out from every pore of our, shame. Right? And we don't even realize we are bakatare. That much bakatare, Kodani Sensei said. He is a great individual. When he was studying in Japan, he attended, or he was taking a class at the Ryukoku University and listening to this kind of a message. And he asked the question, being a student from the United States, right? Just they like to ask questions. So he asked teacher, "This is nonsense. What are you talking about? Does Amida Buddha exist?" All these questions. And the teacher looked at him, staring at him, says, "You need to understand what it means, not just the words, what it means. That's deep contemplation behind the words, behind the sutra." That's the area that we are not good at. When somebody says something, we take it, the word as is, but Buddha's case, there's a deep, loving, caring mind and heart, behind. So we are running around in this world of darkness, and because we don't know the world as such, we always create enemies. We create the cause of suffering, trying to remove them from our world. We do that to each other constantly. Even if we don't do it, we think, in my mind, I killed many people. We kill many people. Fortunately, I didn't physically kill, but we are possessing all kinds of possibilities. Shinran Shonin said, we could be killing 1,000 people if conditions arise. He doesn't say, "Oh, I'm not going to kill anyone. I'm not going to be a bully." We could be victim. We could be, the other side. Not to justify whatever we do, but we need to understand, we need to come to this realization of oneself being in such a situation. So, in Jodo Shinshu teaching, we have all bonnos, the blind passions, not lacking even one. We are possessors of all kinds of foolish seed, that could come out anytime. So one sensei, he was being honored in Japan. He said he doesn't want to be honored because he is still living. He may be doing something stupid and his name could appear on the newspaper. So while we are living, we don't know. We don't know what we end up being. Right? So at the very end of our life, that's the time say thank you. Thank you to Sensei. Yeah. But the very end is very important. But again, I'm not changing the subject, but this self being a carrier of all kinds of abonno, and we may end up doing something and end up behind the bars too. So when we read Kyogyo Shinsho Shinran Shonin's writing, there's a lengthy portion. He talks about Ajata Shatsuru, who killed his father, king, and he became king. Ajata Shatsuru's story is something that I really like to see someone making a movie out of it. That story has everything in human you can think of, in human life. And this Ajatasattu killed his father and agonized, after he did that. But anyway, this is a long story. But at the end, he meet with Shakyamuni Buddha and transformed. And Shinran Shonin identified himself same as Ajatasattu, who killed his own father. So Shinran Shonin is the person who really saw himself in other people. He didn't put himself outside of the picture, outside of other individuals that we condemn. We see evil people, no difference. No difference. Fortunate, I shouldn't say fortunate, depends on the conditions. If you are born and raised the same way as that person, you may be there, same way. That kind of a deep realization, Shinran Shonin came to by encountering Amida's light. But it's not negative to see the truth of yourself under this light, under this light meaning caring light, the loving light, come out of this situation. Mayoi is delusion, illusion, delusion, I think. In Japanese, mayoi means, ma means truly, yoi is being drunk. We are drunk. We are drunk. So out of the stage of condition of being drunk, we are doing things. And Shinran Shonin says, once we start hearing Buddha's vow, the drunken, we become a little bit sober, a little bit, you stay away from liquor. Doesn't mean you become completely free from all this bonno, but at least you begin to see, so you don't react like before. So it's not like don't do anything, but we care. Buddha cares about all these things collectively, individually. So talking to each individual, I am your parent, I am your best friend. Please find me. Please, I am here. That's the vow. That's the vow. So let's go to the next. Okay.
Question. Amida Tathagata has established the vow for the sake of foolish and evil sentient beings. How are we to understand this? Answer. The Buddha's intention is difficult to fathom. Nevertheless, reflecting on his mind for myself, Shinran Shonin alone, I find that all beings, an ocean of multitudes, have since the beginningless past down to this day, this very moment, been evil and defiled, completely lacking the mind of purity. They have been false and deceitful, completely lacking the mind of truth and reality. Thus, when the Tathagata, in profound compassion for the ocean of all sentient beings in pain and affliction, performed bodhisattva practices for inconceivable millions of measureless kalpas, there was not a moment, not an instant, when his practice in the three modes of action was not pure or lacked this true mind. With this pure, true mind, the Tathagata brought to fulfillment the perfect, unhindered, inconceivable, indescribable, and inexplicable supreme virtues. The Tathagata gives this sincere mind to all living beings, an ocean of beings possessed of blind passions, karmic evil, and false wisdom. This mind manifests the true mind of benefiting others. For this reason, it is completely untainted by the hindrance of doubt. This sincere mind takes as its essence the revered name of supreme virtues.
This passage, I want you to contemplate on this. I don't want to add anything. I don't want to explain anything. It was clearly stated by Shinran Shonin. Shinran Shonin's sincere appreciation of the vow for the sake of himself or us. Isn't this something? From the beginningless past down to this day. Okay, please go to the next page.
I know nothing at all of good or evil, for if I would know thoroughly, as Amida Tathagata knows, that an act was good, then I would know good. If I could know thoroughly, as the Tathagata knows, that an act was evil, then I would know evil. But with a foolish being full of blind passions, in this fleeting world, this burning house, all matters without exception are empty and false, totally without truth and sincerity. The Nembutsu alone is true and real.
This is a powerful statement. Because we are in this world, we encounter the heart and the mind of Buddha. That is Namo Amida Butsu. It gives us the ground. It gives us the home, shelter. Gives us the light. And join with the heart and mind of Buddha and wishing this be heard. This is really difficult for us to come to appreciate, because we see this as true. We have faith in our own perception. We have faith in our own consciousness. So there are two ways of living. One is known as a humanism, okay? Humanism and Buddhism. Humanism is basing on human. Buddhism is basing on Buddha. When we centered around human, activity, human itself is the problem, Human is the problem. So it's just like using a dirty cloth and trying to clean something. You're making it worse. You are making sometimes situation worse. The Buddhism is centered around the Buddha Dharma, and starting from you or I, start living our lives with Buddha's wishes for all. So that kind of a person, like Shinran Shonin himself, he was Buddhanized, he was Amidanized. And we could still sense his tears over our existence. Buddha's wish, which is called Hongan. Hawaii, Hongwanji, Temple of Buddha's wish. You have the best name in the world. Your organization has the best name, because BC doesn't have Hongan, Buddhist Churches of America. but Hawaii, Honpa Hongwanji mission of Hawaii, Hongwanji. So you could share Buddha's sincere wish, deep wish for all people. When we live our lives with Namo Amida Butsu, our life changes. Whatever we have is still there. Okay? The more we see and more appreciation for Namo Amida Butsu. Go to the next page, please. This is the one I'm talking about. Honen Shonin's book. Honen Shonin, he didn't write, he wrote. Would you read this?
It is therefore clear that since the Nembutsu is easy, it is open to everyone, while the various other practices are not open to all types of people because they are difficult. Was it not in order to bring all sentient beings without exception to rebirth that Dharmakara, in his original vow, cast aside the difficult practices and chose the easy one? Question mark. If the original vow had required us to make images of the Buddha and to build stupas, the poor and the destitute would certainly have to give up hope of rebirth. But the fact is that the rich and the highborn are few, while the poor and the lowborn are exceedingly many. If the original vow required us to have wisdom and intelligence, the foolish and the unwise would certainly have to give up hope for rebirth. But the fact is that the wise are few and the foolish are very numerous.
Next page, please.
Again, if the original vow required us to hear and read many things, those who have read and heard little would certainly have to give up hope of rebirth. But the fact is that those who have heard much are few, and those who have heard little are very many. Further, if the original vow required us to observe the precepts and abide by the rules for monks' behavior, those who have broken the precepts and those who have never undertaken them would certainly have to give up hope of rebirth. But the fact is that those who would observe the precepts are few, while those who have broken the precepts are exceedingly many. As for the various other practices, they should be understood in the same way. We should know that if the original vow required us to perform the manifold practices above, then those who are able to attain rebirth would be few, and those unable to do so would be the very many. For this reason, Amida Tathagata in the distant past, when he was the Bhiksu Dharmakara, moved with an impartial compassion and wishing to save all beings universally, did not choose in his original vow concerning rebirth the manifold practices such as making images of the Buddha and building stupas. He chose a single practice of uttering the Nembutsu in that original vow.
Yes, this is something that really resonated among people during that time. The Civil War time in Japan, Kamakura, Heian Kamakura period, and not just limited to that time, but those days, people had no hope. People had no hope. And at this Honen Shonin's place, Hermitage, so interesting. People like Prime Minister Kujo Kanezane comes, and people who have, I'm not saying that this kind of lower class, but farmers, fishermen, all these people coming to Honen Shonin and listening together. They're not looking at, you shouldn't come here. In extreme one, there was a thief, came to his temple hiding and started listening to Honen Shonin's Dharma message. And he couldn't help, but he had to come out. And, he came to steal something, but the thief, came to Honen Shonin and said, wow, he was really, really, moved by Honen Shonin's great understanding and compassionate mind and heart. Honen Shonin, Shinran Shonin regarded Honen Shonin as manifestation of Amida Buddha. Honen Shonin didn't tell Shinran Shonin, you must study 3 sutras. you must go to such and such a place and get the degree. He just shared Amida's original vow or fundamental vow, or basic, vow, Amida's wish for all beings. It's us, the humans, we make the distinction. Oh, so-and-so did a precept, or they are better. So-and-so is engaged in the fishery, killing fish. They are no good. One day, I had a conversation with one of, not the members, friend of mine, dinner table. I said, well, I like to eat crab, in the Bay Area, Dungeness crab, and please come over and I could take you to a nice crab restaurant, Tamamoto-san. Anyway, but I said I go to a Chinese market and buy a live one, right? Live, then I cook it by myself. That person looking at me like, how could you do that? It's like he didn't say he didn't say anything. The way he said it, his tone, I know what he's trying to say. How could you do such thing? Aren't you a minister? Kind of thing. But sometimes, I shouldn't say this, but sometimes, we act like I don't kill, but we make other people kill for us. We make someone else kill. Okay, I didn't kill. I'm a good guy. But Shinran Shonin was eating fish. So in one of books written by his disciples, descendant, Shinran Shonin said, please give this body to fish after he died. He wants to give his body back to fish. But what I'm trying to say is, we are the ones put the, these people, good people, they go to a better place. People who are engaged in farming or fishing, and those people, they are excluded from the compassion net, net of compassion. But the Buddha's eyes are so different from our eyes. Understand why we have to do these things in order to maintain our life. We live our life. We cannot just sit here and wait for the food to come. We have to go out and earn money to make living. We sometimes, do things that we shouldn't be doing, but that's how we do. And the other big eyes and mind and heart truly understand the condition that we are placed in, the way we are. So that is not as a result of just the 10 years or 20 years. Shinran Shonin is saying from the beginningless past, down to here, we have been living in such a way and still this moment. But coming to realize ourselves, the truth of our existence, and recognizing each other as fellow travelers in this big oneness of universe. Buddha is not saying, oh, you don't look good, so don't come. Please, this is home. Just come home. True parents don't say, bring home omiyage. True parents say, come home, especially when you have difficulty, come home. it's a fake parents. Parents said, you need to bring something, otherwise you cannot step into my house. That's not true parent. True parents know truth of the kids, especially when they're having difficulties. Parents want them to come home and find the peace. And
Sensei, thank you.
yeah.
Sensei, I'm looking at the time, so
Okay.
I want to thank you very much.
Mhm.
So we do have one more evening left tomorrow.
Mhm.
Sensei Umezu is a little bit like a train himself. Once he gets going, it's
Sorry.
no, very good, because you become more animated. So very very heartwarming. So, and keeps our attention. But I am looking at the time. So since we're going to come back one more night, I do have a question.
Mhm.
And sorry, the question, remember earlier, was that we are like, we are asking if we must have then, since we are saved, that we must go and save others from the burning world? Or how do we deal with this burning world? Stay away or ignore bullies, or find ways to promote dialogue and reconciliation? So how to live in this world?
We do live in this world, but we realize at the same time our limitation. Okay? But within your own realm, within your own circle, you yourself receive this light, and you could start making a difference in your family, your acquaintances, your community. It's not like you have all these. I'm not saying ignore it, because we care. We look up to Buddha Dharma and listen why this is happening. What can we do? So for me, for each and every one of us to receive this heart of oneness, heart of enlightenment, we begin to share the difficulty with people being bullied, or people who bullies others. We need to come to understand first, then whatever you can within your realm, you try your best, but not just ignore yourself and wish of the Buddha. And keeping that in mind, we do what we can. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to talk about that question tomorrow. And we are saved is a wrong understanding. We are not saved. The remedy has been found. We need to find the remedy. We have to take the medicine. The medicine has been identified, created, and given to us. So it's not like we are saved.
And it says another one is, are sentient beings and priests too evil and defiled to reach out to help others? Is the only option to say the Nembutsu and withdraw?
Well, this is very difficult question to answer, because just like Shinran Shonin is saying, in Tanito, there are times you want to do something, but by doing it, are you really helping? We don't know. There is a so-called a good act end up to be negative result. A result could be negative. Just because you think it's a good doesn't mean it's going to help that person. But I'm not saying don't do anything. You should do whatever you think is okay, and Buddha understands, but you have to take the consequences. You have to take the consequence. And if you try to help others, you sell your house, you wanna give everything to those people, that's fine. It's your choice. And some people could do it, some people cannot do. Just because some people cannot do, that doesn't mean they are lesser, valuable person.
Okay. And I guess I know who asked this question. When you said Buddha appeared in a different form so we could better understand him or his teachings in our world, is that similar to God sending his only son to save the world?
And that's another thing, at least I don't know other religion, and I'm not able to say anything about other religion. We are here, for me, my limited life, I hear small bits and pieces of other religion. Sometimes we think of a religion causing issue. It's a human causing, it's not a religion. Religion is religion, but the humans take, we take it wrong way. I'm sure all the religions giving the great guidance to people. And if you are Christian and listening to their messages, find a great meaning and solution, but we don't need to bring two together to acknowledge, but we respect all the religious activities, unless it's a real danger, meaning cult that destroying, obviously destroying like Omu group, the sarin, sarin kind of thing, that kind of thing needs to be, but normal, religious activities, we respect their activities. Yeah. So I don't want to say it's like that. Yeah. Maybe so.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I think we've come to the end of this evening. Yeah, I believe that's so. Could we? So I'm sorry. So tomorrow evening, I hope that you'll all tune in again at 5 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. California time. Yes, thank you, Umezu Sensei. But so we'll see you all tomorrow evening. So could you close with Nembutsu?
Gassho, please. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo
Namandab,
Amida
namandab, namandab, namandab.